Today, we are diving into the absolutely powerful story of Terica Smith. And let me tell you, it's a journey that starts at the absolute bottom, a place most of us can't even imagine, and then climbs to heights that are, well, truly unbelievable. But before we get into it, I want to ask you something. Have you ever survived something, an event, a fight, a moment in your life that was so painful, so deeply unfair, that it just fundamentally changed who you are? A moment where you had to choose between giving up or living. It's that choice that really defines the entire story we're about to explore. You see, for Terica Smith, her story kicks off with the world already deciding who she was supposed to be. She was born a statistic, a label, before she could even say her own name. The odds were just stacked against her from the get-go. In 1985, she's labeled right at birth. By the time she's 5, after being left all alone for days, she was sold by her own mother on a bathroom floor. And by 8, she was a ward of the state, just lost in a system that was medicating her pain instead of even trying to understand it. And this right here, this is the central conflict of her whole story. The world handed her a set of labels: statistic, abused, abandoned. But her entire life became this mission to transform every single one of those into its exact opposite: statistic breaker, resilient, and just utterly unstoppable. The spark for that change came when she was just 5 years old. After being beaten for drinking a beer, because there was literally no food or water, she had this crystal clear realization that would define her life. No one was coming. No hero, no rescue. It was all on her. And that realization, that early lesson, would be put to the ultimate test at the lowest point of her life, a moment that became her single most important turning point. I want you to just try and imagine this. You're 17 years old, you've got a baby in your arms, and your home is the cold concrete under the Clybourne Bridge in New Orleans, surrounded by strangers, terrified, with absolutely nothing to your name. This wasn't just rock bottom, this was a place of total, crushing desperation. And it was right there, under that bridge, that she made a promise to her son. She decided she was done being a victim of her past. She was going to become a victor for his future. She wouldn't wait around for rescue. She was going to create it. So she came to see this moment not as an end, but as a beginning. She actually calls it her construction site, that absolute lowest point where you have a choice. You can let it all tear you down, or you can let something greater start to build. So how in the world do you start building from nothing? Well, she found her blueprint in the most unlikely of places, from a mentor she'd never even met. Her mentor was Jean-Claude Van Damme in the movie Lionheart. No, I'm serious. For her, this film wasn't just entertainment, it was a strategy guide, a manual for someone who's been thrown into a fight they didn't ask for, holding a losing hand. She actually broke the movie's plot down into 4 steps. First, go AWOL, absent without leave from all the people, the environments, and the mindsets that are holding you back. Second, you take on your $5 fight, the smallest, ugliest first step you can find. Third, you win that small fight and get noticed. And finally, you scale up to the bigger opportunities. Her first $5 fight was getting a real estate license. And this number? That's how many times she failed the exam. 7 times. She even said she was the dumbest one in the class, asking basic questions like what a mortgage was. But she just refused to lose that fight. And that persistence, that absolute refusal to quit her $5 fight, is what propelled her from living under a bridge to sitting in boardrooms. And the results? They're just staggering. This was her profit from her very first real estate deal. After all that struggle, just $5,000. I mean, a lot of people would have quit right there, but for her, it was proof. It was the first win. And just look at how fast things took off. 1 year, she makes this tiny profit. The very next year, she's the top-selling agent for a massive national brand. That is what happens when you master the small fights first. And she just kept scaling up. Today, her real estate portfolio includes over 1,000 properties. Think about that. From homeless to a real estate empire. And the peak of this journey? An invitation to the White House. The girl from under the bridge, who was once just a case file, was now being recognized as a national leader in community investment, literally advising on policy. It's incredible. So, what's the engine behind all of this? What's driving it? It's not just a strategy. It's a whole mindset. It's about finding that fight, that roar, deep inside of yourself. This is her mantra. 2 simple words. When a deal goes bad, I win. When things are tough at home, I win. When she feels like giving up, I win. She says a lion's roar marks its territory. Well, this is her roar, marking her territory against failure and doubt. And how does she win? With this simple idea. Brick by brick. How do you build an investment portfolio? Brick by brick. A community? Brick by brick. A life? You guessed it. Brick by brick. It's all about relentless, consistent, focused effort, one step at a time. Which kind of brings us full circle, back to the beginning. Terica Smith found her construction site under a bridge. It was the absolute lowest point in her life, and it became the foundation for everything she built. So, the question for you is, where is yours? What painful place in your life could be the very ground where you start to build something truly incredible?